All right, guys, let's get started here. Kind of like last year, I'm just going to give you some information, some stuff that we're working on that we focus on, and at the end, we'll open up for some Q&A, and hopefully we can all, move forward together. How's everybody doing today?
Nice.
Everybody doing well? Everybody having a good year so far?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. I was talking to Audrey earlier. How's everyone's new year doing as far as enrollment? Everyone spike in January for right now?
Well, kind of funny because I work at the one school,
Okay.
and I come down for the evening classes at the other school.
Okay.
I walked in the other night, and the mats were just completely full. I was like, wow, where did all these kids come from?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because normally I don't get there and actually have to change and get ready. I had to go change and get on the mat and start open.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I know. I'll tell you guys a funny story. You can make fun of Luke tomorrow. So yesterday I was at this. I popped in for our staff meeting really quickly, and I went home, and I get a message from Luke and a picture. Luke has a fake front tooth. It fell out yesterday, like 30 minutes before class started. He's like, oh my God, I don't think I'm gonna be ready to come to the tournament this weekend or something. I can't remember what he said. And I was like, Luke, honestly, don't worry about classes. Like, I'll help out. You need to go to the dentist, like right now. And he was calling everyone in Charleston. No one could get him in until like next Friday. So he finally found a place. It was like, they can get me in like 30 minutes if I can go now. And I was like, dude, just go. Like, I'll come help you out. So I don't normally teach any of the classes during the week. So I went in last night, and it's kind of the same thing. I'm like, white book class shows. I'm like, who are all these kids? Like, where are all these kids from? Like, I didn't know. Rachel, my office manager's like, do you remember who's in class? Because she wasn't able to write the kids' names down to keep attendance. And I'm like, dude, I knew like 5. There was like, I think our white book class had like 30 or 35 in it. I was like, I knew like 5 kids in that class. Like, I didn't know anyone. So I wasn't much. She has like, well, luckily we have all the kids' pictures. So I'm like scrolling through our Zen planner, like, oh yeah, that kid was here. Like trying to remember their photos. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is kind of, hopefully it's just doing the small things over time, and then you just see that pop, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like working out and eating healthy. You can, one bad meal is not going to put you overweight, and one good meal is not going to make you look really good again. But it's doing it over time, and then eventually you're like, you look in the mirror, like, wow, this is what I was working for.
Right.
And same thing with your business, right? Doing the right things every day, posting on social media, teaching great classes. Eventually, you just look around and you're like, oh my God, we're full.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling when it happens.
That's right.
All right, guys, so we're going to start here. So we're going to talk about, we're going to go into how to be in the top 10% of school owners, and then some other information after that. So just kind of who I am. A lot of you guys know who I am already. If you don't know, I own a couple schools in Charleston, South Carolina. I opened my first school October 1st of 2012. It was a CrossFit gym. I sold it in 2015. And since then, I've opened Charleston Taekwondo, Kickfit Studio, and then we're opening next Monday our second Charleston Taekwondo as well. So we've been pretty busy, but 2 locations I work at right now. We have over 400 active members. Like I said, opening our new location. We did $1 million last year, a little over $1 million. Our goal just between the 2 Taekwondo locations this year is 1.3. With Kickfit, we want to do about 1.5, almost 1.6 between the 3 locations. And again, those numbers obviously vary depending on where you're at. I know Brandon Beliso is out in California. He's always showing like, oh, we have 2 schools and we do $2 million. I'm like, his average client, his membership's like $250 a month. He's in San Francisco. So things obviously matter depending on where you're at. We're in Charleston and we're in Mount Pleasant. We're in a good area code. I was in the World Class Athlete program. I was in the Army for 9 years. U.S. champion. I won collegiate nationals, collegiate team trials. Went to Olympic trials, Pan Am trials. So, kind of familiar with both sides, with the sport and the business side. All I do now is really the business side. My goal today is to share with you what it takes to be in the top 10%. I'm going to show you the numbers. You can kind of see, your business better than anyone else. You can just look at the numbers and find out where am I at. Use it as a gauge. I'm going to explain to you how I made it into the top 1% within 5 years. This October was our 6th year in business, or my 6-year total in business. Give you 3 things that we're focusing on this year, and then just kind of share with you how I really like to live life on my own terms. Just like I was telling you guys earlier, I had a coaching call. Anytime today when I was up here, and all I talked with the owner about was whenever I implement a new program, like our after-school program, summer camps, I implement it with the idea of it being a business that I don't have to be there all the time. So a lot of times, we want to add a program, like, oh, I want to add an after-school program, but it's going to require me to do this, this, and this. I always try to look at it as, if I add this program, who do I need to do these things to be successful? If it requires me to be there constantly, it's just not something that I'm interested in doing right now. Like I told a guy earlier, 6 years ago, I would have taught a monkey taekwondo for $100 a month if you'd have paid me, because we had to pay rent. Now, fortunately, we're in a good situation where my time is just more valuable than another program and some extra revenue. So I like the balance aspect of it. So just for the numbers, you guys know, so 2015, this was done just a couple years ago. The numbers are higher, but this is a base. There's approximately about 73,000. Last I heard, there's about 80,000 schools in the United States right now. It sounds like a lot, but if you really break it down, it's about right, actually. Average gross is about $73,000 a year, or about $5,800 a month. That's what most schools make. Average instructor makes about $35,000 a year, so it's a typical job for most people. And 90% of school owners have less than 100 members. Average number of employees is 1, and that does include the owner, right, because they are running it. So most schools are a one-man show. That's pretty normal. And the average percent of growth each year is about 5%. That's since 2008, so that's since the market crash. Most schools grow about 5% per year. Pretty good, but honestly, it's a clock. What do I say? A broken clock is right twice a day. You know, it's kind of like, you know, the market's good right now. The economy has been great, and everyone should be growing. If you're not growing right now, we need to fix some things before, you know, the winter comes, right? Because the recession is going to come sooner than later, and the businesses that are doing really well now will weather that storm. That's why I'm a huge believer in after school, because I think it will help you weather it. I think there's a balance there when it comes to after school, and not as much for martial arts. If you're a struggling martial arts school now, I really think you're going to hit a wall come recession time. The more you can push in the good times, the better it is in the bad times. So what it takes to be in the top 10%, pretty basic here. We want to have 100 students. We want to do at least $10,000 a month. We want to have one employee besides yourself, and we need to have systems for you to take time off. If you have to close your school down to go to nationals, that is not a good thing. That is not ideal. All right, we want to be able to keep our school up and running. Unless you're like a sports school, unless you're, you know, Juan Moreno, and that's what everyone's at nationals in your entire school, or, you know, some schools just have Uwe Lee up in Minnesota has, you know, a ton of programs and a ton of kids that compete. That's a good thing. For us, we have, you know, I have 400 members. I have 10 kids coming this weekend. And we told everyone about it, right? It is what it is. We're just not a sports school. So for us, we have to make sure that our main program comes first. And unfortunately, you know, the sparring just comes secondary. But overall, it's really not that difficult. Can we all agree those numbers are pretty doable? Mm-hmm. Fair, right? We can do that. If we're not doing it already, definitely doable numbers. You can do this pretty easy. But, you know, if you want more, this was not enough for me. I was, you know, that definitely $10,000 was not enough. I will be completely honest with you. When I first opened my business in 2012, I thought $20,000 a month was like game changer. Like, this is the happiest I'll ever be in my life if I can do $20,000 a month. I thought it was really just like that was the goal, because that's what I knew successful school owners were doing. So to me, that was the benchmark. And then once I was able to network and meet other school owners that were doing $80,000, you know, $100,000, $150,000 a month, you start to realize there's actually a lot more meat on the bone if we're doing it the right way. If you want to build an empire, that is my goal. I want to have 7 locations in Charleston. That is my goal, to have 7 locations, 7 school owners that are bought into the business. Luke is bought into Charleston Taekwondo now. He's one of the owners of the main location. And then we have Torin is helping me open the second location, and he will eventually buy into that as well. So the goal for our model is to open locations, grow them to capacity, keep them at numbers, and then give that instructor an opportunity to buy in, so they are very invested in that business that they're not going to go anywhere. All right, we're going to make a career for them. So my numbers, like I said, last year we did $1 million, just over $1 million. We averaged about $85,000 a month for the year. I have 14 employees between both locations. Only 4 of those are full-time. So 10 part-timers. They range between, honestly, 2 hours a week up to 10 hours or 20 hours a week. We have 400 total members. Last year, we did add $300,000 in revenue in our business, primarily through the after-school program and summer camps. Our after-school program, we have 100 students in it right now. Our martial arts program, we have 320 members. And then summer camps, last year we did 700 camps sold. The way we do the camps, if you're not familiar, it's per week. So if a kid does 10 weeks of camp, that 10 is counted in 700. We don't have 700 children. It's 700 weeks, total weeks. The first time I heard that, I was like, you have 1,000 kids come to camp? How do you do that?
So of the martial arts program, the 320, are any of those the after-school program kids as well?
No.
Those totally different numbers.
Completely different. Yeah, we and I can explain that to you guys later if you want. It's not really touched in this presentation today. We treat them almost like separate businesses that are in the same building.
So can they come to your after-school program and not do any martial arts?
Potentially, yes. So like out of the 100 kids that do our after school program, I would say 3 or 4 of them don't want to do martial arts, and that's fine. They just use that time to read, or they can be on an iPad or something like that during class time. But the majority of them actually fall in love with martial arts because it is fun. The way we teach it is fun, and everyone else is doing it, and they want to do it, and they see the recognition the other kids are getting by earning their tips and earning belts and how much fun they're having. So they, very good question. So when we first started our after school program, like I said, we started at 6 kids, and then we went to 12, 32, and then to 80 really quickly. Most of those, that jump from 30 to 80, I would say only about 5 of them were actual students that moved into the after school program. The rest were brand new. So, and we were filling more of a need. They weren't coming to martial arts after school. They were coming to after school that had martial arts. And so we basically, got the kid and the parent to buy in because of the character development, because of the fun in the games. And like you said, I think as long as your martial arts program is fun and you teach it like game-based learning, which it sounds like you do a lot of, I don't think you'll have a problem. At least that's been our situation. So yeah, we have 100 students, 320 regular members, and then 700. Like I said, we did 700 weeks of camp. A lot of those are members. The after schoolers and the campers just feed each other. They're used to being with us, so they just roll right into our camp, and then vice versa. All right, so how was I able to grow that quickly? Just doing the math. It's really simple. Most people make growing a martial arts school way too complicated. It is very simple. All you have to do is work backwards. Know where you want to be, do the numbers, and work back. Everyone's numbers are slightly different, but I'm going to show you guys a quick breakdown. So say, for example, in 2017, you did $5,000. Per month, you did 60 grand for the year, and you want to move to $6,000, which means you're growing at 20%, okay? If you just want to grow consistently 20% over 4 years, you're basically doubling your income. You're going to do $124,000. Again, note the stock market only does 7 to 10% over a decade. It is not doing that right now by any means, but this is a simple way to do it. So if you want to grow by 20%, which is, that's a good healthy growth for a business, I'm going to show you how to break it down. So we need to grow by $12,000. So we want to get to 72. We did 60 last year. So we need to grow by 12,000. We need $1,000 per month of growth on average. You're not going to do $1,000 next month. So maybe we're doing, 500 in January, but by December we're doing 2,000. So it averages out to 1,000 a month. Say your average client value is $100 a month. Average client value. The national average is 150. Just in case you were wondering, you need 10 new students to get to 1,000. Okay, 10 new students per month. Having to account for your loss, a lot of people, and that's another thing we don't consider, is if we want to grow by this many students, we think of how many students we need to sign, and a lot of times we forget our attrition. We're going to drop people off. This is going to happen. They're going to quit. They're going to move. They're going to do soccer. Whatever happens, they're going to drop off. Your attrition should not be more than 10%. This is actually, you definitely do not want to be over 10%. We try to float between 3 and 5. We've been, some months we will have 7 to 10. We try to keep it 3 to 5. If we can average 5% or less over the year, I'll take it. So, at 50 students, so you're doing 5,000 a month, that means you have 50 students in your program. You're gonna probably, attrition would count for 5 students lost, plus the 10 students that you need to grow by. So we need 15 students per month to grow at 20%. All right, so really simple. So now it's not, okay, I wanna make more money next year. It's, I need to get 15 kids per month. And if I do 12 this month, then I need to do 18 next month. Right? The number doesn't change. You have to hit the number. And if it's 15, it's, that one thing to consider is you need 15 students. Depending on how your trial process is, for us, we do a 2-week trial. We know that we sign 50% of trials on average. So for me to hit 15 students, I need to sign 30 trials. And that's the goal. Immediately, everyone on my team, every week, all we talk about, all we focus on is how we can get 30 trials. No matter what events can we go to, what school talks can we do, where can we be in the community to get 30 trials. That is the only thing that matters, right? Sales and money, I hate to say it, but it fixes a lot of problems. It makes life a lot easier, right? It doesn't buy happiness, but it will give you some breathing room to make some mistakes, okay? So every one of my team's focus now is to get 30 trials a month. I know I'm gonna hit that 15 new students per month. It really is that simple. Okay, so things to remember, your business has highs and lows, all right? There's gonna be some months that you're spiking and it just is what it is. Go with it, right? If back to school time frame and New Year's are typically your highest months and your highest times a year you're gonna grow, really just double down. When it's good, be all in, be there all the time in your business. Don't leave it up to your staff to do everything for you. Those are the times you need to double down, be in the business, growing the business and working on it. And if it's slow in April, relax a little bit in April. Maybe that's when you go on vacation every year because you know it's a slow time in your business. You don't have to be balls to the wall for 12 months. You're going to get burnt out. So when the business is hot, that's when we double down. When the business is slow, for most schools, if they don't have summer camps, summertime's slow for people. Enjoy it. Enjoy your summer. And just know you're going to take that hit, right? But if you have summer camps, that's a busy time for us. But like I said, no one's business is hot for 12 months. Just know when it's not hot, that's your time to relax a little bit, enjoy life. But when it's booming, like right now for a lot of school owners, enjoy it and double down. Everyone that's coming in, get them to bring a friend. Talk to them, open up the line of communication to try to get them to refer someone into your program. When it's hot, like what they say in Vegas, when you're betting and you're hot, like keep doing it. Keep going until it'll eventually run out, right? So we want to double down when we can. And just remember, your business is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And one thing in any industry, especially in the martial arts industry right now, everyone's kind of promising overnight results, and it just isn't that easy. Everything just takes time. Again, there's no magic pills for weight loss. There's no magic pill for your business to be $1 million school overnight. It just takes time of doing the right things every day, and eventually, boom, you show up and you're like, oh my God, who are all these kids in my program? Practice aggressive patience. And what I mean by that is when you're there, be all in. When you're in your business, focus on growing the business. But be patient and just know that it takes time. You can do 100 push-ups today. You're not going to get in better shape if you just do, what you need to do is 25 a day. Or, we want be aggressive about it, but we want to be patient. It just takes time. All right. And just average things out over the year. If your goal is to get 15 students a month, you need 30 trials a month on average. Don't get down on the team if they don't hit that number. We just know that when it is hot in August, September, and October, instead of doing 30 trials, we need to do 60 because we have to make up for the loss that we're not hitting throughout the year. So just know those highs and lows. If you're in brand new school, you might not know your highs and lows yet, but after 4, 5, 6 years or longer, we should have a pretty good picture of when we can double down. The 3 things that we focus on and we've really just dialed in our businesses to do really well at are members, instructors, and business. All right, so members, what are you doing every year to make the experience better for your members? All right, that's really what it comes down to. We tell our instructors all the time we are entertainers. Just like a show in Las Vegas, we are entertainers. Our goal here is to entertain people, make them have fun, make them want to come back to our program every day. What are we doing to increase the value and the experience for our members? Easy thing to do is improve your facility. Right? You don't have to upgrade it and spend a ton of money. A fresh coat of paint goes a long way. If your mats smell or are super old and have holes in them, get new mats, fix them, invest in good things for your business. Again, fresh paint, new benches, new chairs, just new things that in our business, we teach children. And as a new parent, I'm very concerned with how clean things are. So it's first impressions matter a lot. And the thing about martial arts schools, in most situations, there's too much stuff in them. They are too cluttered. If you have things stuffed in the corner or not on shelves or not stacked up, that might not be a problem to you, but it just seems cluttered. Simple is better. We always get made fun of like white walls, red and blue mats. Like, that's fine. You know why? Because it looks really good. It's clean. It's professional looking, in my opinion. Improve your equipment. If the seam is ripped on your shield, give it to a student, sell it to someone for $5. But I guarantee if you put a sticker for $5 on a used shield, it will get sold in the first class that you put it out there. Buy new equipment. Every year we buy all new hand targets, all new paddles, all new shields every year because they start to get beat up a little bit. They start to get a little just used and worn. We either give them to our leadership team so they can practice at home or a kid that needs it, or we just sell them for $5 or $10 and we sell them in literally the first class. In the first 10 minutes of class, we sell them, but we get new equipment in our facility every year. Improve your instruction. Just make sure that you are teaching really good classes. And the biggest thing we focused on in the past 6 months is I've been spending a lot of time with our staff and our leadership team on how they present our material. How do we teach the same thing in a more intriguing and a more fun way for our members? So we want to improve the facility, improve the equipment, and improve the instruction. And just remember, good is not good enough. People only write reviews and tell their friends about things that are amazing, that blow their socks off, or stuff that really sucks. No one talks about average. There's no reason to talk about it, right? It's just average. So we don't want to suck. Obviously, we want to be really good. So when you're on the floor, be amazing. The thing we always try to tell our student or our staff is teach like you're on camera. Teach like this is the last class you're ever going to teach. It needs to be the best class of your life, and we're going to film it. And if you can do that every time, over and over and over, again, it's just like weight loss, right? You do that every day, every class. A year from now, you're going to be really excited with what you see on your floor. And then, great becomes the standard. We hold each other accountable. If I have a bad day, I expect Luke to call me out and vice versa. Luke's one of my best friends. I've known him since we were in middle school. If he has a bad class, I will tell him. There's no hard feelings. It's, hey man, we got to step it up. We charge a lot and we expect a lot. And for us to be able to require our part-time staff members to do a great job, we have to set the standard. We have to be better than they are. So it's up to us to set that standard super high. All right, for the instructors, this is Luke right here. He had a tooth. You guys can make fun of him tomorrow. How are you improving your instructors? So how are you spending time with them, making them better? We used to do staff training once a week for 1 hour, and we would do leadership training once a week for 1 hour. This year we have changed things. Well, the past 6 months we've changed things. We do staff training for 3 hours a week, and 2 of those hours are actual practice and training. 1 hour is going over all the numbers and knowing where we're at for our goals. And then for our leadership team, we went from 1 hour a week to 4 30-minute sessions a week. And then every other month we spend an hour together on Saturdays. And I can tell you it's been life-changing purely because we're spending more time with them. Super simple, right? The more time you spend with them, developing them and practicing, they just got a lot better. We expect a lot of our students and our part-timers to be great and to do what we do, and they just don't know how, and they don't get enough practice. So we want to spend more time with them. And we do charge for our leadership program. So that's another thing we did. The reason we added more classes and made it a lot better is because we actually started charging for it. Because we would find that, when leadership is free, they can come and they can go. We can't really ask a lot of them because they're not paid. We don't, it's kind of hard to ask a lot of someone when it's a free service, right? On the other hand, we charge for it now. It's $50 a month to be in our leadership program. And it includes 4 30-minute sessions a week. It includes one Saturday 1 hour session every other month, and it's its own curriculum. So we literally made leadership where it's its own curriculum, and they actually graduate out of it. So it's not a forever type thing. When they complete leadership program, they actually graduate into what we call MIT, which is our Mastery Instructor Training Program, and that's where they become a part-time instructor. So until you graduate the leadership program, you cannot teach on our floor. So it's a really in-depth program. It's really good. I'll share that with you guys. If you guys want, just ask after class. Big thing here for instructors. So how are you growing them professionally? How are you going to make them more money next year? When Luke first came and worked for me, we had, I think, 50 students when I convinced him to move from Greenville to Charleston, and I paid him, I think, like $9 an hour. But I promised him within 2 years I could have him making $60,000 a year. And again, how did I do that? I used the same formula we did earlier. What number do I need to be grossing for Luke to make this amount of money? And that was the finish line. Get to that finish line as fast as possible. And we ended up doing that. Luke makes over $100,000 a year right now as my head instructor. And it's just, you have to think about what's in it for them. My goal for Luke and for all of my instructors is I want them to have a career that they never want to leave me. That happens pretty common in martial arts schools is someone works for someone, they have, they learn the program, they enjoy it, they help build it, but there's nothing long-term for them. Why help you build your dream, right? What's in it for them? And that's something that I value a lot with my team is I want to know what's in it. I want them to know what's in it for them, and I want to know what they want out of the situation. So we have that conversation a lot. We're very open. How am I going to get him to make more money? Am I providing perks like health insurance? I don't personally provide health insurance for my staff. My full-timers, I do give them a health insurance stipend that they can apply it towards health insurance if they want to. It's up to them, but I don't provide it to part-time. But all the full-timers, it's not direct health care, but I do give them a stipend. I give them $250 a month towards health care. How, does Master A, Master Manquin, do they see a future with your company? What's in it? Again, what's in it for them? If someone's a full-time employee at your school, how are you going to keep them in 5 years? If they're working for you for 40 grand and someone offers them 50, they're probably going to go. Unless they're super bought into the culture and the value of the program. So, but if I can show them how I can get to where they want to be, in my mind as a school owner is, people want to make six figures. They want to make $100,000. And I don't know why. I think it's just a number that sounds really good, right? To make 100 grand a year. So if you can get someone to that point, most people will probably stay. And that's my goal, is to get all of my school owners, like the manager of each location, to that 6-figure mark. And again, once a month, I take every member on my staff to lunch individually, once a month. And I just ask them, are you happy? Are you dating someone? How's your kids? How's your dog? What's your life going on? Just get to know them a little bit better and find out what they want. And then the big thing that I had someone tell me this past year that I thought was really great that stuck with me is, are you living a lifestyle that they want to live? You know, if you're stressed out all the time, running from 2 locations back and forth, and you're having trouble making ends meet, why would somebody want to work for you? You know, if you don't have a nice house, a nice car, if you're not just a happy person, if you seem stressed out, why would anyone want to work for you? Because that is the finish line. You made the finish line your life. So if they don't want that, they're never going to work for you long term. So make sure that you enjoy your life, that you're happy, that you have the things that someone would want to emulate. All right, so the last thing here is the business. Treat your business like an employee. This is our main location, it's our main floor here. Treat your business like an employee, look out for it. A lot of people look out for the employees and themselves, and they don't worry about the business so much, right? Like, does it smell good? Does it look good? Does it feel good? What's the vibe when you walk into it? We want to treat it like an employee. How is your business going to make more money next year? So the way we do our breakdown is all the staff get paid, all the managers get paid, I get paid as an employee of the business. The business itself makes X amount of dollars, and that's what that's what we get our owner draw from. How is the business itself going to make more money next year? The reason that's very, very important, most martial arts school owners don't think about that. It's very important because that's how you sell a business. You don't sell a business by saying, I make 30 grand a year, I make 50 grand a year. It's not worth that because you're gonna have to pay someone else to fill that position. You know, if I wanted to sell you my location, you're gonna have to work in it. Unless I can show you that you don't have to work in it and it still produces this amount of money, that's more enticing to a buyer. Most martial arts schools will never be bought because there is no finish line. We just don't think about the finish line. All right, so treat your business like an employee. And if you needed to sell, right, if you wanted to sell because you want to retire, I don't think anyone will be here teaching when they're 90. All right, if you want to sell one day, or I don't know, your wife gets in an accident, you need a new kidney or something, I don't know. Right? If you needed to sell or had to sell, could you sell? I sold Luke 10% of my business this past year. My goal is to sell Torrin 40% of the next location. But I have to show them that it's a good investment, and here's how they can, get to that next level of where they want to be. Right? It has to be enticing. And guys, that's kind of really that's kind of really it. The big thing I wanted to focus on, the 3 things are, your business, your instructors, and your members and the experience that they have. Do you guys have any questions?